in the silence of the night, when the world falls asleep, and the stars quietly watch from above, there exists a mysterious realm, far beyond the waking mind, a realm ruled not by men, but by divine spirits known as the Oneiroi. The Greeks believed in these spirits. They were not myths to them. They were living forces. Every dream carried a spirit's touch. Every vision in sleep had meaning. Some gentle, some terrifying, but never meaningless. The name Oneiroi comes from the word oneiros. It simply means dream, but to the Greeks, a dream was more than thought. It was a messenger, a guide, a warning, or sometimes a gift from the gods themselves. Hesiod, the ancient poet, spoke of their origin. The Oneiroi were children of Nyx, the night. They were siblings to Hypnos, the god of sleep, and Thanatos, the spirit of peaceful death. Born from darkness itself, they carried silence, mystery, and shadows within them. The poets described their home, a land at the very edge of the world, where no sunlight entered, and silence lay heavy. There stood two great gates, the gate of horn and the gate of ivory. Through the gate of horn came true dreams, visions carrying divine truth. Through the gate of ivory came false dreams, illusions to confuse or deceive. The Greeks believed every dream entered through one of these gates, and so they judged them carefully. Imagine a soldier in ancient Greece, resting after battle. He dreams of victory. Is it a true dream from the gate of horn, or a false hope from the gate of ivory? The dream itself could guide him or mislead him. The Oneiroi were many, but three stood above the rest. Morpheus, the bringer of human dreams. Phobetor, the master of beasts and nightmares. And Phantasos, the crafter of illusions, wonders, and fantasies. To close your eyes in ancient Greece was to enter their world, a world where gods touched the human mind, where visions shaped fate itself. Sleep was not rest. It was a sacred passage, a bridge between mortal and divine. And so, the story of the Oneiroi begins. A family of dreams, shadows of the night, guides of the soul, waiting for you in silence. Every night, as you drift into sleep. Among the many spirits of dreams, one name stands brighter than the rest. Morpheus, the shaper of human dreams, the sculptor of visions that wear the face of man. While Phobetor would bring beasts, and Phantasos would weave illusions, it was Morpheus who entered the mind in human form. He was the one who made kings see kings, mothers see their children, and lovers meet their beloved. Morpheus was the son of Hypnos, the god of sleep himself, and from his father he inherited silence, gentleness, and the art of soft arrival. He came without sound, without warning, and yet he filled the night with images so real that men awoke in wonder. The poets described him as swift-winged, able to cross the night skies in moments. He did not move like thunder, but like a whisper in the dark. He carried no weapons, only shadows, and with those shadows he painted faces, eyes, smiles, voices, gestures, everything that made a person feel alive. To dream of Morpheus was to see a vision of someone familiar, a brother, a friend, a lost parent, or even a god disguised as man. He gave shape to memory, and sometimes shape to prophecy. The Greeks feared and revered this power. For when a king dreamt of a messenger, how could he know? Was it truly a servant in his sleep? Or was it Morpheus, sent by Zeus himself? Every human figure in a dream carried mystery, carried weight. Morpheus became more than a name. He was a doorway through which gods could speak to men, a channel between Olympus and the mortal heart. When Hera wished to deceive, when Zeus wished to command, they sent Morpheus, because only he could craft the illusion of humanity. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine him entering your dream. At first, only silence, a breath of cool night air, then a shadow forming, and slowly the shadow becomes a face. Perhaps the face of someone you love, or someone you fear. It feels real. The voice speaks. The hand touches yours. And though your body sleeps, your heart believes. This is the art of Morpheus. Not illusion for the sake of lies, but vision so real that the boundary between dream and waking blurs. When you wake, you ask yourself, was it real? Did I truly see them? Or was it only the god of dreams? In temples and in whispers, people prayed to Morpheus for guidance, for answers, for reunion with those who had passed away. Because in his hands, dreams were bridges between the living and the dead, between gods and mortals, between memory and desire. The Romans, too, adopted his name. They saw in Morpheus the essence of dream itself. Even our modern word, morph, to shape, to form, comes from his divine art. He was not just a character of myth. He became a symbol of transformation. And yet, despite his vast power, he remained hidden, never worshipped in grand temples, never raised in golden statues. He worked in silence, in the secret places of the mind, in the stillness of sleep. Imagine ancient Greece once more. The marble pillars, the olive trees swaying in night wind, and within a quiet home, a man rests upon his bed, his eyes closed, his breathing deep, and then Morpheus enters. The man dreams of a messenger, clothed in simple robes, carrying a word of warning. He wakes in fear, unsure if it was truly a dream, or if the gods had spoken through Morpheus. Such was the weight of his gift. Morpheus shaped not only dreams, but destiny itself. For a dream could change a decision, and a decision could change history. Thus, in his silence, he held the threads of fate. And so tonight, as you rest and breathe deeply, know that Morpheus may come, not with thunder, not with fear, but with the gentle face of someone you know, to remind you that dreams are never empty. They are doors, and Morpheus is the one who opens them. Among the sons of Hypnos, there was one who carried a darker gift. His name was Phobetor, the bringer of beasts, the master of nightmares. While Morpheus shaped human form, Phobetor filled the mind with creatures of shadow, with lions roaring in the night, with serpents coiling through the dark, with wings of bats and eyes glowing like fire. The ancients feared him deeply, for dreams of Phobetor were not gentle. They were terrifying. They shook the heart. They left sweat upon the brow and trembling in the soul. Phobetor's name means the frightener, and indeed that is what he was when he entered a dream. It was never calm. It was chaos given form. Imagine the stillness of midnight, the silence of a quiet room, and then suddenly, a wild beast rushes through your dream, its teeth glistening, its roar shaking the air. This was the mark of Phobetor. The Greeks believed he took the shape of animals, not only lions and serpents, but birds of prey, wolves of the forest, and creatures beyond mortal sight, to remind mankind of the dangers that waited in the wild. Nightmares were not accidents. They were messengers. And Phobetor was their herald. Through him, the gods could warn, could punish, or simply remind mortals of their weakness. Close your eyes and picture a dream where you are running. The ground shakes beneath your feet. Behind you, a beast is chasing. You cannot escape. Its breath is on your neck. Its claws reach for you. That terror, that helplessness, is the gift of Phobetor. But not all of his work was cruel. For even nightmares had purpose. They warned men to be cautious. They reminded warriors of fear. And they taught kings that power could not protect from dread. In temples and rituals, the Greeks sometimes prayed for protection from Phobetor. They placed charms, lit lamps at night, and called upon Hypnos to keep his son at bay. Yet others believed that to dream of beasts was to glimpse the truth of nature, that the wild world outside had a spirit within the dream, and Phobetor was the guide. The poets wrote of him as black-winged, darker than his brothers, where Morpheus was gentle, and Phantasos was strange. Phobetor was terror itself, a shadow that flew across the night, bringing with him the cries of beasts. Still, there is beauty in his darkness, for nightmares remind us of survival. They awaken instincts long buried. They make the heart race. And in waking, they remind us of life. The ancients believed that even the gods dreamed. And when they did, Phobetor came to them too. Not even Olympus was free from the touch of fear. So tonight, if your dreams bring a beast before you, if a lion roars in your sleep, or a serpent coils in shadow, know that you have met Phobetor, the frightener, the nightmare bringer. And through him, the balance of fear and life continues. For without fear, there is no courage. Without darkness, there is no light. And without Phobetor, there is no true dream. Among the children of Hypnos, there was one unlike the others, neither man like Morpheus, nor beast like Phobetor, but a weaver of illusions. His name was Phantasos, the dream of fantasies. Phantasos did not bring fear. He did not shake the heart with terror. Instead, he filled the mind with strange and wondrous visions, dreams that defied reality and bent the laws of the waking world. The Greeks said, "He took the form of earth, of water, of stone, and sky." He could turn a dream into an endless ocean, or make the ground itself melt beneath your feet. He could fill the night with stars that moved and sang, or create a palace built of clouds. To dream of impossible things, of golden trees with voices, of rivers flowing upward into the heavens, of mountains floating above the earth. This was the mark of Phantasos. He was beloved of artists and poets, for through him imagination found no limits. A sculptor might see a statue come alive in a dream. A poet might wander through a forest of words. A painter might find colors unknown to human eyes, all through the touch of Phantasos. The ancients believed his illusions carried meaning. A strange dream was never empty. It was a symbol, a riddle to be solved, a message from the gods wrapped in mystery. Picture yourself lying asleep. The night is quiet, and suddenly you stand in a hall of mirrors, each mirror showing a different world, one filled with light, one filled with shadows, one where time flows backward, and one where you are not yourself. This is the kingdom of Phantasos. He could bring beauty. He could bring wonder, but also confusion. For not every fantasy was joyful. Some illusions deceived. Some illusions trapped the dreamer in endless mazes, leaving them restless even when awake. Unlike Phobetor, who terrified, or Morpheus, who shaped men, Phantasos existed in between. He blurred the line between truth and fiction, between the possible and the impossible. The philosophers spoke of him often. For was not life itself an illusion? Was not the world a kind of dream? Plato once said that the world we see is but a shadow of a greater reality. And in the visions of Phantasos, that truth was revealed. Many Greeks sought guidance in these fantasies, believing that strange dreams were signs, that an impossible vision might hold the answer, or reveal a path hidden in waking life. Yet there was danger too. For the dreamer who followed illusion too far might lose sight of what was real and wander forever in Phantasos' realm, never fully waking, never fully dreaming. Still, without him, dreams would lack wonder. Without him, the night would bring no color. Without him, the human mind would not stretch beyond the ordinary. For in Phantasos, the Greeks saw the seed of inspiration, the power of imagination, and the endless beauty of what the mind could create. So when you dream tonight and see rivers of gold flowing through the sky, or a city rising from the sea, or wings carrying you beyond the stars, know that Phantasos has touched your sleep, the weaver of illusions, the master of fantasies, and the eternal reminder that the world within is as vast as the world without, far away from the world of men, beyond mountains and beyond seas. There was said to be a hidden place, a cave so deep, so silent, that even the sun itself could not reach it. This was the cave of Hypnos, the god of sleep, a place wrapped in eternal shadow, where time moved slowly, and the boundary between dream and death grew thin. The poets described it as vast, a cavern without end, its walls covered with strange plants that glowed softly, and its floor carpeted with poppies, whose fragrance lulled even the strongest mind into slumber. Around the entrance flowed the river Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. Its waters murmured softly, carrying away the memories of those who drank from it, forgetting pain, forgetting sorrow, forgetting even their own names. No sound of bird or beast disturbed this place. No hammer, no voice, no cry of war, only silence and the whisper of flowing water. Within the cave, Hypnos himself lay upon his bed, a couch of ebony wood, surrounded by dreams that hovered like mist around him. Some gentle, some dark, some strange beyond imagining. Here, at the very heart of night, were the two gates of dreams, one of horn, one of ivory. The ancients believed that every dream which entered the mortal mind passed through one of these gates. From the gate of horn came true dreams, visions touched with prophecy, dreams that carried the voices of the gods and revealed the paths of destiny. But from the gate of ivory came false dreams, illusions, deceptions, empty visions that misled the dreamer and left them chasing shadows when they awoke. Imagine standing before those gates, one dark, shining like polished horn, the other pale, gleaming like carved ivory. Behind one lies truth, behind the other falsehood. But to the dreamer, both feel the same. Both seem real until the morning light arrives. In the stories of Homer, it was through the gate of horn that Zeus sent dreams to kings, guiding their choices, whispering commands in the silence of night. But through the ivory gate came empty dreams that left mortals lost and uncertain. The cave itself symbolized the mystery of sleep. For in darkness, the mind enters another world. A world both real and unreal. A world where gods might speak, or illusions might deceive. The poets told that Phantasos, the god of death, was often found near this cave. For death and sleep were brothers, one gentle and fleeting, the other eternal. And both shared the same silent dwelling place. It was said that even the gods respected this cave. Zeus himself feared to disturb Hypnos. For if sleep were angered, all of creation might fall into endless slumber. even the mighty gods of Olympus. To enter the cave of Hypnos was to step out of time itself, to surrender the body and let the spirit wander into dreams beyond mortal comprehension. Some believed that philosophers sought this place in their visions, that they walked its shadowed halls in dreams, hoping to glimpse the gates and learn the secret difference between truth and falsehood. The cave of Hypnos was not only a myth, it was a reflection of the human mind. Silent, vast, mysterious, holding within it the power to heal, the power to guide, or the power to deceive. And so, whenever the Greeks dreamed, they wondered, from which gate had this vision come? From the horn that carries truth, or from the ivory that carries lies? For in that question lies the eternal mystery of sleep, the eternal shadow of Hypnos's cave, and the endless path that every dreamer must walk. In the world of the ancient Greeks, dreams were not seen as random shadows of the mind. They were believed to be messages, echoes from the divine, reflections from gods, spirits, and even the souls of the dead. For the people of Greece, dreams were a daily companion, just as real as the rising of the sun and the flowing of the rivers. Each morning, when a dreamer awoke, they did not simply forget what they had seen. They sought meaning, purpose, and guidance. A farmer might dream of golden wheat fields and take it as a sign of a rich harvest. A sailor might dream of stormy seas and believe it was a warning not to travel. A soldier might dream of victory and see it as the promise of triumph in battle. Every dream was a message, but the question remained: was it true? Or was it false? Had it passed through the gate of horn? Or through the gate of ivory? Because of this uncertainty, the Greeks developed rituals, sacred acts to help them understand dreams, and to call upon the gods for clarity. One of the most important practices was called incubation, a ritual where dreamers would go to a temple, lie upon the sacred floor, and wait for sleep to come. They believed that in this holy rest, the gods would send them visions, clearer, sharper, more divine than ordinary dreams. The temples of Asclepios, the god of healing, were famous for this ritual. Sick men and women traveled great distances, hoping that in the sacred silence, a dream would reveal the cure to their illness. These dreams were not ignored. Priests would listen carefully, recording each vision and interpreting it with sacred wisdom. If a dreamer saw themselves drinking pure water, it might mean cleansing of the body. If they saw a serpent sacred to Asclepios, it might mean healing was near. But it was not only the sick who sought dreams. Kings and generals also turned to the gods of sleep. Before battles, they prayed for visions, for guidance on whether to march forward or to hold back. In Homer's epics, dreams play a powerful role. Zeus himself sends dreams to Agamemnon, encouraging him to attack the Trojans. But the dream comes through the gate of ivory, and so it is false, leading only to greater suffering. For ordinary Greeks, dreams were woven into festivals and daily rituals. At night, they would leave small offerings, milk, honey, or a piece of bread, asking the gods to send peaceful visions and to keep nightmares far away. In some villages, dream interpreters were respected figures. They were called Oneiroi, the judges of dreams. People brought their visions to them, and they spoke of hidden meanings, of signs, of omens, of warnings. Not every dream was welcomed. Nightmares were feared deeply, especially those filled with images of death or fire or wild beasts. These were seen as messages from Phobetor, the bringer of terrifying dreams. And people sought rituals to cleanse themselves, burning incense, sprinkling holy water, whispering prayers. Yet even nightmares had meaning. They were not dismissed as useless. Instead, they were believed to be warnings, signs that danger was near, or that the gods demanded respect. The role of dreams was so strong that entire books were written about them. Dream manuals filled with interpretations, explaining what each image might mean. A dream of flying might suggest freedom. A dream of falling might mean failure. A dream of marriage might mean new beginnings. Even in the courts of law, dreams could be brought as evidence. For if the gods sent visions, who could dare to ignore them? To the Greeks, dreams were not only personal, they were part of the connection between humans and gods. Each night was a bridge, a crossing from the world of mortals into the eternal world of the divine. When a man lay down to sleep, he was not alone. He was entering the realm of Hypnos, and through him, the realm of the Oneiroi, the spirits of dreams who shaped the visions of every sleeper. This daily ritual of sleep and dream reminded the Greeks that they were never far from the gods, that in the silence of the night, they could receive wisdom or warnings, or glimpses of the future that no waking eye could see. And so, in every Greek home, in every temple, in every palace, dreams were honored, studied, feared, and loved. They were not mere shadows. They were threads in the great fabric of life. The ancient Greek world, dreams were more than fleeting shadows of the mind. They were bridges, sacred channels through which gods spoke to mortals. Prophetic dreams carried messages of destiny, of warning, of hope, and of despair. To the Greeks, the night was a veil, and behind that veil, gods could whisper their secrets. They did not always come in thunder or lightning. Sometimes they came in silence, in the quiet murmur of a dream. The poets told us that Zeus himself, the king of gods, often used dreams as his messengers. Not every dream came directly from him, but when they did, they carried weight heavier than stone. one of the most famous stories, is found in Homer's Iliad. As the Trojan War raged, Agamemnon, the leader of the Greeks, received a dream. In his sleep, a false spirit sent by Zeus appeared, promising him swift victory if he attacked at dawn. Agamemnon awoke, filled with confidence. But the dream was deceitful. It led to disaster, and the lesson remained clear. Not all dreams could be trusted. The Greeks believed that prophetic dreams came through the gate of horn, while false dreams came through the gate of ivory. This idea shaped how they listened, how they judged, and how they acted upon their visions. For kings and rulers, prophetic dreams were treated as divine counsel. Before great decisions, they sought them, they waited for them. Some even refused to act until a vision confirmed their choice. In temples across Greece, priests served as interpreters of these sacred dreams. If a dream showed the rising of the sun over dark waters, it could be taken as a sign of triumph after hardship. If a dream showed fire consuming a home, it might warn of danger, betrayal, or loss. Prophetic dreams were not only for the powerful. Even ordinary men and women believed they could receive messages from the gods. A shepherd in the hills might dream of wolves circling his flock and wake with a warning to guard them closely. A mother might dream of her child wrapped in light and believe the gods promised protection and blessing. Sometimes, dreams foretold events that truly came to pass. Historians recorded tales of men who dreamed of storms before they struck, of generals who dreamed of victory before their armies triumphed, and of common citizens who saw disasters in their sleep, only to watch them unfold in daylight. But the Greeks also knew that dreams could be dangerous, that evil spirits or jealous gods might send false visions. And so, they treated every dream with caution, seeking confirmation through sacrifice, through prayer, through ritual. One of the most sacred rituals was dream incubation in the temples of Asclepius. Here, seekers slept upon holy beds, hoping that in the stillness of night, a god would speak. Many testified that dreams came with clear voices, instructing them to take certain medicines, to bathe in sacred waters, or to give offerings. These were seen as true prophecies, healings whispered by the gods themselves. Philosophers, too, reflected deeply on prophetic dreams. Plato believed they could reveal hidden truths of the soul. Aristotle, more cautious, saw them as natural signs, yet admitted that some seemed too precise to ignore. For the ancients, prophecy was never far from mystery. Prophetic dreams shaped wars. They influenced politics. They guided families. They touched every level of society, from the throne to the marketplace. Even nightmares were sometimes prophetic. A dream of falling into darkness might mean the loss of power. A dream of blood upon one's hands might warn of guilt or punishment. These visions were feared, yet respected. For to ignore them was to risk angering the divine. Imagine now an ancient Greek city, the marble temples glowing under the moonlight, families sleeping in quiet homes, and across the land, countless dreamers, each one touched by visions, each one wondering, was this a prophecy? Or was it only a shadow? To sleep in ancient Greece was never simply to rest. It was to enter a sacred dialogue with the divine, to open the mind and wait for the gods to speak. And so, every prophetic dream carried weight. It was a thread in the grand tapestry of fate, a whisper of destiny, a reminder that even in the silence of night, the gods were near, watching, guiding, speaking. The Trojan War is one of the greatest and most famous stories of ancient Greece. And within this epic tale, dreams play a powerful and mysterious role. They are not just fleeting images of sleep. They are divine messages, warnings, and reflections of destiny itself. Even before the war began, dreams foretold the coming tragedy. One of the earliest examples is the dream of Hecuba, queen of Troy and wife of King Priam. She dreamed that she gave birth to a burning torch, and that torch consumed the entire city of Troy in flames. This was a prophetic dream about her son Paris, the very prince who would later ignite the war that shook the ancient world. The famous judgment of Paris also carried the weight of fate, almost like a dream itself. When Paris was asked to decide who among the goddesses was the fairest, the choice was not ordinary. It was a divine test, and the outcome of that choice would shape the destiny of nations. In Homer's Iliad, dreams appear from the very beginning. Zeus, king of the gods, sends a false dream to Agamemnon. The dream appears as a trusted figure and convinces him that the time is right to attack Troy. But in reality, it is a trap, a manipulation by the gods. This shows that dreams could deceive as much as they could reveal the truth. Both Greeks and Trojans believed deeply in the power of dreams. Soldiers often claimed that they had seen visions of victory or defeat in their sleep. Such visions could either strengthen their courage or fill their hearts with dread. The Trojan hero, Hector himself, was not free from the influence of dreams. Legends say that he often saw shadowy images of his own death before it came to pass. And his wife Andromache also dreamed of doom and loss. Her fears were warnings, whispered to her in the language of dreams. In the Odyssey, dreams continued to guide, deceive, and shape events. Odysseus, on his long journey home, encountered moments where dreams served as omens of hope or danger. Even Penelope, his wife, spoke of her dreams as a way to reveal both her despair and her faith in his return. The Greeks often spoke of the two gates of dreams, one gate from which true dreams came forth, and another gate from which false and deceptive dreams emerged. In both the Iliad and the Odyssey, characters question whether the dreams they see belong to truth or to illusion. At the fall of Troy, poets described how warriors had already seen the burning city in their dreams. They dreamed of collapsing walls, blazing fires, and cries of despair, as if fate had already written the ending, and the dream was only the rehearsal of reality. To the ancient Greeks, dreams were never just personal imagination. They were messages from the divine. And the Trojan War proved that dreams, destiny, and the will of the gods were woven together. That is why Homer and other poets gave dreams such importance in their epics. Dreams inspired fear, offered hope, and revealed the unseen hand of fate. The Trojan War was not only a battle of swords and shields, it was also a battle of dreams, where gods spoke through sleep and human lives were moved by visions of the night. And even today, when we read the Iliad or the Odyssey, we see that dreams were not simply passing shadows. They were part of destiny itself, forever echoing through the stories of men and gods. In ancient Greece, dreams were not only stories of gods and heroes. They were also subjects of deep philosophical reflection. Great thinkers like Plato, Aristotle, and later philosophers tried to understand what dreams truly meant. Were they divine messages, illusions of the mind, or simply echoes of daily life? Plato, the student of Socrates, often wrote about dreams in his dialogues. He believed that dreams could reveal the hidden nature of the human soul. In his work, The Republic, Plato described how desires and instincts appear in dreams. During sleep, when reason rests, the irrational part of the soul awakens. Forbidden desires, secret fears, and hidden passions emerge in the theater of dreams. For Plato, dreams were a window into the true nature of a person. When awake, a person hides behind reason, logic, and self-control. But in dreams, the mask is removed. The soul speaks in images, often strange and sometimes terrifying. Plato also linked dreams to his theory of forms. He suggested that some dreams could reflect higher truths. They were not only random images, but glimpses into the eternal world of ideas. This gave dreams a sacred dimension, making them more than personal illusions. Aristotle, Plato's student, took a different approach. He was less mystical and more scientific. In his work on dreams and on sleep and sleeplessness, Aristotle analyzed dreams carefully. He did not see them as direct messages from the gods. Instead, he believed they came from the workings of the body and the mind. According to Aristotle, when a person sleeps, the senses are at rest. But the impressions gathered during the day remain inside the soul. Dreams are like echoes of those impressions, reshaped into new forms. For example, if someone had seen fire during the day, they might dream of light or burning in the night. Aristotle described dreams as after images of sensations. He compared them to ripples on water after a stone is thrown. Even when the stone is gone, the waves remain. In the same way, even when wakefulness ends, the mind continues to ripple with images. Yet Aristotle also admitted that some dreams could predict the future. He argued that this was not because of divine intervention, but rather because the human mind could sense small hidden causes before they became visible. Dreams, therefore, could sometimes act as warnings based on subtle signs that reason overlooked. This natural explanation was revolutionary. It suggested that dreams were not purely supernatural. They were part of human psychology, connected to both body and soul. Other Greek thinkers also contributed to the philosophy of dreams. Heraclitus believed that dreams connected humans to a greater cosmic order. Democritus suggested that dreams were caused by images, or idola, floating in the air and entering the sleeper's mind. These ideas show that even before modern science, the Greeks tried to find natural causes for dreams. But philosophy did not remove the mystery of dreams. Even Aristotle admitted that dreams could be strange, powerful, and difficult to explain. They stood between reason and imagination, between the physical body and the divine world. For the Greeks, dreams were not only personal experiences. They were questions about truth, illusion, and the nature of reality itself. When Plato spoke of dreams, he asked, "Do they reveal truth, or do they deceive us?" When Aristotle wrote of dreams, he asked, "Do they come from the body or from the soul?" These questions are timeless. Even today, modern psychology and neuroscience continue to ask the same things. What is the purpose of dreams? Do they reveal the unconscious mind as Freud believed? Or are they simply random patterns of brain activity, as many scientists suggest? The ancient Greeks may not have had the tools of modern science, but they had the wisdom to see that dreams mattered. They influenced not only daily life, but also the highest levels of philosophy. When we read Plato, we see dreams as mirrors of the soul. When we read Aristotle, we see dreams as reflections of the senses and the body. Together, they created a foundation for the study of dreams that still influences us today. So, in the realm of Greek philosophy, dreams were not mere shadows of the night. They were profound questions about truth, desire, and destiny. And in their silent whispers, they continue to guide human thought even after thousands of years. In the ancient world, dreams were never seen as meaningless. They were whispers from beyond, messages carried through the veil of sleep, and often they were believed to come directly from the gods. For the Greeks, sleep was not just rest. It was a sacred state, a moment when the boundary between mortal and divine grew thin. And in that fragile silence, messages could cross from the heavens to the human heart. Dreams were treated as messengers. They were guides, warnings, and sometimes promises. No great decision was made without listening to their voice. Kings, generals, and even philosophers paid close attention to the visions of the night. In Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, dreams appear as direct communications from the gods. A messenger would come in the shape of a friend, a parent, or even a shadowy figure. They would whisper advice, deliver warnings, or inspire courage. To ignore such a dream was to risk the anger of the gods themselves. The Greeks believed in two gates of dreams. One was the gate of ivory. Through it came deceptive dreams, illusions, and lies. The other was the gate of horn. Through it came true dreams, destined to be fulfilled. This idea reminded people that not every dream could be trusted. Some carried truth, others carried trickery. Because of this belief, the art of dream interpretation became highly important. Priests, seers, and oracles were often consulted. They had the sacred task of deciding whether a dream was real or false, whether it was sent from the gods or born only from the restless mind. A dream of flying might be seen as a sign of victory and freedom. A dream of falling might mean danger, failure, or the wrath of a god. If one dreamed of snakes, it could mean healing, since snakes were sacred to Asclepius, the god of medicine. But it could also mean betrayal, danger, or hidden enemies. Every symbol carried weight. Every vision demanded attention. In temples dedicated to Asclepius, people came to seek healing through dream incubation. They would sleep in the temple, hoping the god would send them a dream with guidance. In those dreams, Asclepius himself or his sacred serpent might appear with a cure. The patient would then follow the instructions given in the dream, believing that the god had spoken directly to them. Dreams could also be warnings before great battles. Generals and kings often reported visions before going to war. Some were reassured by dreams of victory. Others were haunted by nightmares of loss and destruction. These visions influenced strategies, morale, and sometimes even changed the course of history. But dreams were not only for rulers and warriors. Common people also sought meaning in them. A farmer dreaming of a bountiful harvest believed it to be a blessing. A mother dreaming of harm to her child would rush to the temple to pray. For every Greek, dreams were threads connecting daily life to the divine. The ancients believed that gods often disguised themselves in dreams. Sometimes Zeus appeared as a powerful king. Sometimes Hera came as a motherly figure. Sometimes Hermes, the messenger god, entered dreams to deliver words of fate. These disguises made dreams mysterious, layered, and worthy of deep reflection. Yet, the Greeks also feared deceptive dreams. They knew not every vision was holy. Evil spirits or trickster gods could twist dreams into traps. This is why dream interpreters and philosophers constantly debated how to separate truth from illusion. Even philosophers like Artemidorus, centuries later, wrote great works on dream interpretation. His book, Oneiroi, became a guide for understanding symbols. It offered explanations for hundreds of dream images, from animals to stars to human faces. It showed how deeply the Greeks valued the messages of the night. To the ancients, dreams were not random shadows. They were messengers, sometimes gentle, sometimes terrifying. They revealed secrets, warned of dangers, and gave hope in dark times. They were bridges, connecting mortals to gods. So, when a Greek closed their eyes at night, they did not simply expect rest. They expected to listen, to watch, to receive a message. For in sleep, they believed, the gods spoke more clearly than in waking life. And every dream carried the possibility of destiny itself. Nightmares were feared in the ancient world, for they came suddenly, dark, and heavy with dread. Dreams of beasts, of shadows, of falling endlessly into the abyss. The Greeks believed these were not ordinary visions, but warnings, punishments, or whispers from the gods of the night. Among these gods was Nyx, the goddess of night. Her power was older than Zeus himself. She was the mother of many forces, both gentle and terrifying. From her came Hypnos, the god of sleep, and Thanatos, the spirit of peaceful death. Together, they represented the eternal cycle of rest and release. When nightmares struck, the Greeks believed they were part of Nyx's domain. She wrapped the world in her dark cloak, allowing both dreams and terrors to pass through. Nightmares were seen as her shadowy gifts, not always curses, but lessons, to remind mortals of their fears and the fragility of life itself. But there was always a transition, from darkness into peace, from fear into calm. And this was the work of Hypnos and Thanatos, where Nyx brought the night. They guided the soul gently through it. Hypnos touched the eyes with his feather-light fingers, calming the mind, slowing the breath, dissolving the terror, while Thanatos, though often feared, was not cruel. He represented the softest end, a release from pain, a peaceful surrender. Together, they took the nightmares and turned them into rest. The Greeks often described nightmares as wild horses, charging through the mind, uncontrollable and fierce. But Hypnos was the one who tamed them. He led them gently into silence, into stillness, until at last, sleep returned to its gentle rhythm. In temples and sacred spaces, rituals were performed to ease nightmares. Offerings to Nyx for protection, prayers to Hypnos for calm, and invocations to Thanatos asking for mercy and peace. Through these acts, the Greeks believed even the darkest visions could be softened. Nightmares were not meaningless. They were reflections of inner fear or warnings from the divine. But no matter how terrifying they seemed, they always gave way to peace. For the night could not last forever, and dawn would always follow. Now, as you rest here, let go of your own shadows, the fears that trouble you, the worries that chase you in the night. They are only passing shapes, like clouds across the sky. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. With each breath, feel the weight of fear melting away. With each exhale, imagine shadows dissolving into light. Hypnos is here, his touch soft, gentle, protective. Thanatos is near too, but not with fear, with peace, Together, they guide you into stillness, into calm, into safety, into the quiet embrace of Nyx. You are safe. You are calm. You are resting. The nightmares have passed, and now only peace remains. Drift deeper, deeper into the quiet night, deeper into calm. Where no fear can reach you, only dreams, soft, gentle, endless. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. For you are safe, you are calm, and you are free. The Greeks believed that dreams were not only visions, but eternal messages, flowing from the realm of Nyx, the goddess of night. A realm where shadows and light lived together, and where mortals found meaning in silence. Every dream, whether gentle or terrifying, carried a purpose, a hidden truth, a message from the divine, or a reflection of the human soul. Nightmares were storms, but dreams of peace were calm seas. And together they shaped the human spirit. Nyx remained forever, watching over the night. Her children, Hypnos, Morpheus, Phantasos, each guiding humanity. Sleep, dreams, and even the softest end of life. All were her eternal gifts. The Greeks saw this cycle as endless. Darkness giving way to rest, rest giving way to vision, and vision guiding mortals toward wisdom. Night after night, dream after dream, until life itself felt connected to eternity. For them, the night was never only silence. It was a teacher, a messenger, a mirror of the soul. And in its embrace, every fear found peace. Every shadow dissolved into light, and every restless heart finally found stillness. Now, as you listen, let these ancient truths settle in your mind. Dreams are not enemies, but guides. Even nightmares carry meaning. But beyond them all waits calm, waits peace, waits sleep. Close your eyes. Let go of every thought. Breathe slowly. And allow yourself to drift. You are safe. You are calm. You are resting. Night surrounds you with protection. Dreams will guide you with gentleness, and peace will carry you through the night. Drift deeper, deeper into stillness, deeper into calm, where no fear remains. Only peace, only rest, only sleep. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. For you are safe, you are calm, and you are free.